Okay, all right. Okay, we're going. Let's go. Let's go. Here we go. So, one last thing on the review, because I was making a mistake. It was still failing. Here was the problem. A silly little problem. I was calling it test R instead of test array. It wanted to be test array. Whoops. So here we go here. Make it test array. Save it. Run it. Oops. Run it and it passes. So that's all that it was. Thank you. It was I had the wrong name for that variable. I don't believe that Shima's code here is using ESLint. So it's not. So we had instructions, and up in the configs configs folder, there's a file called eslint.eslint.rc.json. What that does is try to help you more than JavaScript will help you by itself. It tries to say, here are some rules. One of the rules would be that if I did test R like this, it would be smart enough to say, you're using a variable that doesn't exist. Like basically you have a typo. You named something wrong. That's really nice. It can put a big red squiggly line under there and tell you much quicker than this. Because to my, slow human brain, it's test R represents the same idea as test array, so it's hard for me to spot the problem. But I did finally, of course, right after you leave, I spot it and it works now. Okay, let's go ahead and get rid of that console log so that it's not too busy now that we're in the console, now that we're done. Run it one more time. Great. Now just beautiful green. Okay, and that's pretty good. It has fewer lines of code. It's been safely refactored. I think it's more clear now, and it's more flexible and powerful because it handles any number of items, not just 3. Well, it needs at least one, and then we're good. So we could pass in 2 numbers, fine. Pass in 50 numbers, fine. Right. Perfect. Great code. Okay, thank you for sharing, Shima. All right, let's put that away and talk about objects. Okay, so we'll have a demo that we'll post at lunchtime, and let me get in there real quick. And it is about objects and how I think about them as magical dictionaries. Okay, here we go. Whoops. All right, the magic of JavaScript objects. An object is like a dictionary. Okay? Well, like a dictionary. A plain old dictionary like we use in our life. So, for example, one kind of dictionary is a English to French dictionary. And the way if you were looking in a English dictionary book, right? Find hello, and it will say bonjour. Okay, then you go look for goodbye, au revoir. Okay? Of course, in your dictionary, you probably have it alphabetical. It needs to be alphabetical because it would take forever to find anything if they didn't have an order. This dictionary is a little bit more flexible. It could be in any order because the way it works is you just say, hey, like Google Translate, I want this thing, and it automatically gives you the other one. It's like it opens to the correct page every time just by telling it what you want. So that's nice. Yes, we, no, known, good evening, bonsoir. That's how you say it? Okay. Okay, thank you. I don't know. Notice that this is JavaScript here. Notice that the sometimes has no quotes on the left part, sometimes has quotes on the right. We'll talk about that more. The part to the left of the colon, the two dots on top of each other, part to the left is called the key. Okay? The part to the right of colon is called the value. They are often referred together as key-value pairs. Notice the key for good evening is in quotes. It's in quotes because it is multi-word. So JavaScript will be okay if you have hello outside of quotes because it's a single word. But as soon as you get to be multi-word, then you need to use the quotes. Okay? Sometimes you probably do that on the terminal. There might be some things that allow you to have a branch name or something like that, or something where it's different as soon as you get into multiple words, and then you need to use quotes. Similar here. You can use quotes around single words too, but you don't have to. Okay, we usually access the value in an object with a dot. Example, some object dot some key. That's the format, the usual format. Example, English to French dictionary dot hello has the value of bonjour. Look back here, that allows us to say this object dot hello gives us the value bonjour, right? Okay? And then, au revoir, bonsoir, let's try it out. If we can get these values. How do we get au revoir? Let's go back here and bring up some code. We want localhost. The port is 5500, I believe. Okay, is that what we want? Yes. And then let's try some code. Okay. Go into app.js and we'll try it. Comment this out. We don't want all that yet. Okay, so if we want to get, we got bonjour by doing English to French. Yes? I am, thank you. Thank you for checking. So if we got English to French dot hello. Okay, bonjour. To get goodbye?
English to French.
Yes, English to French, goodbye, right? Easy. So for the single word keys, as easy as dot in that word. For the multiple line ones, like good evening, you need to use brackets. Okay, you see? You can't do good space evening with a dot because JavaScript would get confused. It would say good, and then you have this evening in there with a space. What is that, right? Doesn't know what that means. Also, if you tried, if it was something like this, dash, that wouldn't work well either because the minus looks like a subtraction. So there are certain reserved characters, space is one of them, where you just have to use the brackets and then the key name in quotes. And again, you can also do that for single amendments. So if you prefer to have only one style, then you can do this for both. Okay?
What about
yes, not good. Underscore will work with dot. And in fact, let's see, I don't have any examples of that right now. But yes, it would work. If you had something like, who, what, is your name, then you could indeed have that using the dot. It's more conventional in JavaScript to use dashes instead, so you wouldn't. But in other languages, it's common to use the underscores. Okay. Yes, Giovanni.
Can you translate from English to Arabic?
You can. You cannot. What you would likely do is have another one. You'd have like an Arabic. So, I'm sorry. Did you say English to Arabic? English to Arabic? Yes. We make a new one. The same way. Okay. And then it's down here. So, even before we have anything in there, you could have an empty object, which would just be a dictionary with nothing in it, and that's fine. You can start out with, just like you can start out with an empty array, you can start out with an empty object, as an object with no keys or values. And but now you could start adding some. But objects are alive, meaning you can change their properties, add property, what are called properties. You can add keys with values. And let's try one right now. Let's try English to Arabic. And hello equals, wait, don't tell me. Marhaban. And that's one of the few I know. Did I spell that right? Yes? Okay. And so now let's log this out. I'm going to use my LV because it's so cool. And English to Arabic dot what? Hello. Okay, let's check our log. Oops. And English to Arabic, hello, right there, top line. Okay? English to Arabic dot hello is marhaba. So yes, absolutely, Joanna. And of course, any language we want, we could do it with a dictionary. You can also do it even without anything to do with languages. You could just make your own collection of objects that make sense for your application. Okay, so as I mentioned, we usually access the value with a dot. Okay, so that's it. So far it's like, I said it's like a magical dictionary. So far it's pretty much like a normal dictionary. With the one convenient feature is that, two convenient features is that the keys don't have to be in order. So you can, it's like if you say hello, it will automatically take you to the H page, the page with all the H words, take you exactly where you want to be and give you the translation. Also is that you can add things to the dictionary, and it will be alive, and it can grow. You can even delete things from it, and so you can modify it as you need. So that's nice. It's not quite a magical dictionary, but it's a nice dictionary, a very convenient dictionary to use. But where it really gets great is this. Sorry, I'm just, up here is just what I just said, right? Dictionaries are alive, you can add things to them, you can delete from them. And now the real magic, the values in an object, they're not just text, not just strings, they can be anything. Well, almost anything. They could be any JavaScript expression. So if you can say var a equals that thing can be a value in an object. Okay? So it could be, of course, it could be a string because you've already seen that. It could be a Boolean. It could be a number. It could be an array. It could be another object inside of the object, inside of that object. It could, so anything. Anything.
Function maybe.
Oh my goodness, you took it to the next level. So it could be, yes.
Can I create objects inside object?
Yes, you can have objects inside of objects. Sometimes those are called nested objects. Yes, you can. Okay. So let's see. We just made an object. It has a key of banana. It has quotes. It doesn't have to be in quotes because it's a single word. Inside of this object, the value for the banana key is another object that has a name of banana, a description, a nutritious yellow fruit, peel just before eating. Okay, so yes, object inside of an object. So if you wanted to get the description of the banana, how would you code that out? Yes, so whatever variable you're holding the outer object in, maybe it's called fruit, then you'd say fruit dot what? Banana dot description. Yes. Thank you. Let's try that out real quick. We have in our code, in magic, this one here. Let's change this to be magic. Oops, magic.html. Okay, I got you. All right. So let's try it. Let's go ahead in here. And we have, let me see what I have it called. Fruit dictionary. That's fruit dictionary. Okay, there it is. It is there. It has been defined. And fruit dictionary dot. And look, our browser is smart enough to even know the properties of my object already. So we have an apple in there. And if we wanted to get the description of that apple, which itself is an object, dot description. Okay? You can go as deep as you want in there. Sometimes you might have 10 objects deep. No problem. It might not be the clearest code, but you can. And sometimes you're going to be getting back data from the internet, from some other provider of data, and it will be very, very complex, right? Yes, easily 10 in there. And not just objects. You might have an object with a key whose value is an array, and that array itself is another object which has, more and more. But it's all valid JavaScript. You just get used to it. Okay.
So we can see it more complex at the back end more often.
Yes, very much so. Okay, so that's how we get the description for a banana, or we showed in our code the apple. Okay. So but can the value be a function? Well, they asked. Yes, it can even be a function. In fact, you work very often with a function that's inside of an object right now. Anybody know what that is? Yes. Yes, it is called a method. That's great. That's the more precise word for a function that is a property of an object. But we use a method every day in our JavaScript. You all have been doing it for weeks now. Let's see if anybody can remember. It's hidden in plain sight.
Console.log.
Yes, console.log. Console is an object, and log is a function that's a property of that object, and we use it all the time. So let's see if we can make one for ourselves. Let's add let's see, here we go. Here we go, we have in fruit dictionary, it has one thing in it right now, another object with a key of apple. It has a name, has a description, and it has a function. A function inside there. The function is called eat. So if we want to call this function, how do we do it? So fruit dictionary is the name of our thing. We want to call the eat function on the apple. Okay. So, starting with fruit dictionary, dot, okay, an apple, dot eat, okay. Notice we're getting a little sort of fancy looking F here. That's because eat is a function. Okay, we're not telling the function to run. That's important. As I said before, the function is a description of the work to be done. It's not the same as doing the work. So if we want to do the work, what do we do? What's that? Yes, we call the function. And how do you call a function?
The name of the function.
Yes? Yes. Parentheses. That's right. And if there's no arguments, that's enough. And look, delicious. Very good. If there were arguments, you could pass them in here, right? I don't know. You know, cook first. I don't know. Right? But if they don't have any arguments, then just call it without any. Okay. All right, questions on that? So I know this is covering a lot that was in the reading, and as was mentioned this morning, there's you're not sure. I think you were saying, like, you don't know, you get a little bit of it, and so hopefully this is reinforcing, making more sense of the readings here. Yes, over there.
Now the return value from function eat we store in an object above.
So you want to restore the return value
No, I asked
from eat?
the return value from eat
Yeah.
store in Apple object.
Right now we do not. Right now it's just when you call it, it returns delicious, but it's not being stored. It's not being. If I'm understanding you right, I'm sorry. Ask one more time.
Now I have function.
Yes.
The name of function is eat.
Yes.
And I have object Apple.
Yes.
And I call the function eat.
Yes.
Now the return value from function store in object Apple or
No, it is line 43. It will return that value, but it doesn't store it on the apple at all. It's if you wanted to store that, you would have code like, to store it in a variable, for example, like fruit dictionary.apple.eat, and if you want to store that, then have it be in a variable. Eat result. There you go. And see, eat result is now delicious.
yeah, thank you.
You're welcome. Okay. How are we feeling on objects? Thumbs. Okay. Gotcha. So I'll ask some more questions about the terms being used. So to the left of okay. Well, that's telling you too much. I wanted to ask you what the left part. Here we go. So to the left of the colon is called what?
The key.
The key, that's right. The key. And to the right? Value. And together? Key value pair. That's right. Okay? When you're talking about a key on an object, you oftentimes call that the property. So the English to French object has a property named hello. So just another word for it. Okay, great. What or does the key have to be in quotes, quotation marks? No, not always. Yeah, that's right. Single word can be without. Okay. It can be, as you see here, but it doesn't have to be. Okay. And the values, for now, let's just say the keys will always be strings. There is some flexibility there, but almost always it's going to be strings. So let's just say think that. Okay, so the keys are almost always strings, and the values, what are they? What are the types? Yes, anything. Right. That's right. Any Java, it's called any JavaScript expression. So anything that resolves to a valid JavaScript value. Yes, type, Boolean, number, all the things you could think of. If you could put them in a variable, you can make them the value of a that corresponds to a key in an object. Great. Okay. Yes. Akbar.
If I create a new object
Yes.
and I want to create property keys and that
Yes.
side,
Yes.
how can I install it?
Yes. So here, let's go ahead and make one. Let's go ahead and comment all this out. I still want to hold on to it in case we need it. Okay. All right. So let's get all that off screen and just code some out ourselves. Let's make one. So somebody tell me an object. Anything. We already did fruit. We did English or French or something. Give me an idea.
The same of the example of the
Yeah.
maybe
Of what?
hotels.
Hotel?
Yes.
Okay, great. All right. So it is an. Okay, so how do we start or an object? Yes, curly brace. Okay, great. This one here is called an object literal. We will learn another way of creating objects tomorrow. So here we go. What are some of the properties that a hotel could have? Location. Okay, great. Okay, and we'll say I don't know. Let's say rainbow. Is it street or road? Street. Okay. I don't know. 34. That's where I ate dinner. Okay.
Name.
A name. Okay. All right. We'll call whatever this. We'll call it Ataba Hotel. Okay. Okay. Okay, room number. Now would oh, that's a good question. Would a hotel have a room number, or would a room have a room number? Yeah.
So we should have an object.
Right. So I think we should have a key for rooms, and then anything. We could have, maybe we have an array of rooms, maybe an array of room objects. Like what? Okay. Okay. So we'll give it a key of number. For now, it's a very simple hotel. It only has 2 rooms. Number, and how about beds? This one has 2 beds. And this one is number 2, and it has 1 bed. Okay. See, we put an array inside of an object, and that array itself has objects, right? Yes, in this case too. Very powerful. And okay, so here's a quiz for you. If we want to get the number of rooms at the hotel, how do I do that? Okay, hotel dot rooms.
Square.
Okay, dot. I heard dot first. Dot what?
You want to know what?
Okay, how many rooms there are at the hotel?
Length.
Length, that's right. This is, rooms is just an array. It happens to be an array that is nested inside of an object, but it's still an array. if we had a variable called hotel rooms, then and we wanted to find out its length, of course, just hotel rooms dot length, right? Well, this is doing that. It's hotel object dot rooms array dot length, because rooms, even though it's an array, is actually a kind of object, and it has a property called length. And
I
it,
need one of the objects inside the array. I just put the index, right?
yes, you can. You could do anything that you could do with an array. You could do here. Yes, like we could find out the number of beds in the first room. Exactly. Okay. Did that answer your question, Ahmed?
Not quite.
Okay. Ask it again, please.
If the owner of the hotels
Yeah.
want to build a new floor,
Uh-huh.
want to add more rooms,
Yeah.
how can I add?
Okay, sure. So we want to. So there's a room 3.
Yeah.
Okay, and it has one bed as well, for example. Okay. So, what? Any guesses?
Yes.
Yes. Yes. Noah.
Hotel dot rooms dot push.
Okay. Dot push. Let's try it. And what do we want to push into rooms?
2 values or 2 operators. It's the number and the bed.
Yes. So we only actually want to pass in one value, but which is an object.
Yes.
But that object
But then
has 2 properties. Yes. So push in one thing, but one thing that itself contains 2 things. So we'll say number 3 and beds 1. Like that. Maybe to make this a little bit more explicit, we can say this. Var new room equals that. Okay, so this doesn't equal the hotel, it equals the room, and we can push that new room onto the hotel.rooms array. And let's log that. So what I expect to see when this logs is we'll have all 3 rooms shown because we just added one. Let's see if it works. We're on, so we are here, and there we go. Hotel.rooms is an array of 3 things, and that looks good. Okay? Yes?
Yes, but what if I want to add a new key?
Okay. What if we wanted to add a new key? So some whole new idea that we haven't even covered yet. Like maybe if it has a swimming pool. So
No
yeah.
floor.
Okay. Yes. Let's go back to the floors a little bit because floors opens up new options, new ideas. But I want to use a really simple one now. Just how about a new key on there? How about allows pets? Huh? Like let you bring your cat or your dog, right? So the answer is this object, this hotel object, it's alive. You can add things to it as you want. So any guesses if we want to add allows pets as
function.
uh-huh.
Can use function
Mhm.
that contain yes as an answer.
We could use a function, that's true. If we wanted to, let's try it that way in a second. But first, we just simply want a Boolean. What we want to do is, as if we had this, as if at the very beginning we had allow pets. True. Okay. We want it to be like that, but after, like the hotel already exists, and then somebody had the new idea of putting that. So how can we add that to this object? Okay.
Allow object what?
Okay. Go ahead. Allow.
Allow pets
Okay.
equal
Uh huh.
true.
True. Okay. Let's Let's log this out and see. And here's our hotel. And you see, allow pets is true. So just the same way that you could add new things to an array, well, you could add new key value pairs to an object. It's totally alive. You can also delete them. You'll see there's in the, that's less common, but you can do that as well. So it's alive. And you can also reset them. So if you wanted to have allow pets equal to something else, then of course you could. So they're modifiable. You can create new ones, you can delete old ones, and you can modify current ones. Completely flexible and alive. Okay. How about if we wanted to change? The hotel owner at Ataba Hotel says, "No more pets. We can't do that anymore. They're tearing up the place. How could we change that?" We want to make it false. Yes. Oh, just a sec. Before that, I want to answer this question.
Yeah.
Okay.
I want to add a key value pairs.
Yeah.
Okay. We use something called object.bot. It's like bot.
No, you would do it this way. You would just add the new key and value. Okay, so to make it so that that allow pets, we don't want to allow pets anymore. How do we do that? I'll ask you this one. Okay, so somebody who has not answered yet today. Okay. Did you answer already today? No? Yes. Okay, let's see. Along here. Okay. Anybody, either Obade or Muat or Ramsey. So we want to make it so the hotel owner says no more pets. Yes.
The same way.
Okay.
No pets equal false.
Let's try it. So this is changing the value of a key that already exists. Let's find out. And the answer is, did I spell it right? Oh, I have to put the log after. That was confusing. Let's see if it is. There it is. Allow pets is false. That's right. It's as easy as that. If we want to change the name, or the address, it's actually 34 and a half. So 34.5, if such a thing exists. Hotel dot location. I think it's location. Let's see. Yeah. Okay. Equals, or maybe we need a little bit more information. We could say 34 Rainbow Street. Amman. Something like, if we want to add a little bit more on there. Let's see. And thank you. Okay, great. We can add new key value pairs, modify existing key value pairs. And really, these are just variables, but instead of using var, they are properties of it. So anything that you could imagine doing with just a variable, then you could do with these properties. So for example, we already have 34 Rainbow Street. If our instructions were just to add Amman on there, well, of course you could literally take 34 Rainbow Street Amman there, but probably even easier, just add on to the existing one like this. Hotel.location plus space Amman. See that? Let's see if it works. It did. That's nice. Maybe you have a whole hotel chain with hundreds of hotels. That would be very tiring to have to type that out over and over and over again. In fact, you can even do the plus equals business. Are you familiar with plus equals?
Yes.
Okay, so what this means is add a mon to the current value of hotel.location and then store it back in hotel location. Let's see if it works. And it does. Okay. So they are very flexible, very powerful, but sometimes they're about as simple as variables have been. So if you have some good, smart ways of handling variables, well, continue to use those ways with object properties. Okay. Oh, another terminology quiz. When a function is a property of an object, what's another name for that? Method. That's right, method. Okay. All right. Somebody ask another object question, just like that, for the whole class, though. Ask class, what is this called? A little quiz.
Can you rephrase that?
Hmm?
Can you rephrase that?
Yes. Okay. So the way that I just asked, I asked a question to judge your understanding of it. I would like one of you to ask a question to me. See if I know what I'm talking about. Okay. Okay. Yes.
What's the name of the value inside the object?
Then so the name that represents that variable's value is the key, or sometimes called a property, and then the value that's inside there is called the value. All right. Okay, I believe it is time for a break. It is. It's 11:01. I'll see you back at 11:11, and we will talk about how to use these objects to store information from the browser, from the DOM. Yes. Okay, see you in 10.